Welcome to my live, y'all. We're live, Lily.
Oh my gosh.
No one's here yet.
Okay.
It takes a little bit of time for people to come in. Yes, it's called Sunday Sermon.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's my brand.
I love that. Are you going to talk about what you learned today?
And sermon? No, so it's not about church at all.
Oh, okay.
It's me preaching.
Oh,
Hello, happy Sunday. It's Sunday Sermon. We're back. Hi, ladies. Hi, Mansa. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Nakira. Hi, Melanin Magic. Hi, Z Goddess. My friend Lily is also here. Hi, everyone. Keep liking the live. Hi, Jackie. Oh, amazing. Good morning. Did you guys work out? And did you go to church? The answer is no for both. We went to church today. Good to see y'all, ladies. Remember that bag? My homegirl is here. She's making fun of me being live. Okay, we're gonna see the bag, y'all. She's a keeper, right? I'm not giving this back, so y'all better say. You went to church, okay, Nakira? What lip gloss do I use? Summer Fridays in the color Hot Cocoa. So cute. Hi, ladies. Hi, Robert Hawkins. Oh, we got men in here. Gentlemen, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to know? So my friend Lily is here, and she's amazing at career. So if you have any career questions, we have a career guru on our hands. Oh, there she is.
Hi, everyone.
This is Elizabeth. You want to
Nice to
introduce
meet you.
yourself?
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm Jody's friend and PR person, and all about amplifying. I work in communications in social media.
Elizabeth. Oh,
Hi.
career questions.
I worked at Twitter. I work at Pinterest now. I'm all about the elevator pitch and how to position yourself
Ooh.
and feel really confident in your job.
Oh, we're already getting questions. Okay, keep the questions coming for Lily. She's also an amazing comms and PR person. So if you have any, like, how to brand yourself, how to position yourself, she is going to be the best person to ask those questions. So they said, can we connect on LinkedIn? Y'all move fast. I know that's right. Her name is Elizabeth Luke, and she works at Pinterest. Okay, so they want to know about your Pinterest career.
Oh, should I come back?
Yep. I think you're on.
Wow, okay. Exciting. So I do PR. And so my tip is that a lot of times when you think about PR, the immediate place you go is the Today Show or Us Weekly or the places that all the consumers are reading. But I work in corporate communications, and that's a really good idea because it's a smaller world and it's really working with the leadership and making them famous in a smaller industry. So general population comms is a lot harder because you need celebrities all the time to push your message forward. But if you do corporate, you can make somebody famous in an outlet like Ad Age or TechCrunch or Billboard Magazine or the Hollywood Reporter. And so having a specialty, I think, is a really good way to move things forward. In terms of breaking into tech is a remarkable space right now, and there's so much more opportunity than there was 10 years ago when Jody and I were in tech. Whoa. I think
slow down, Savannah.
Well, Jody, she has her tech background too.
10 years ago.
And the first thing I'll say is tech is not just social media. So don't just look at Pinterest and Meta if you want to work there, but think about AI companies, what's going on in that space. Think about ad technology. Think about real estate technology, healthcare technology. And so open up your mind of what tech could potentially be, and then that's an avenue. And just continue to connect with as many people as possible.
Love. Okay. A lot of questions. Someone also said Commanders versus, who's the other one? Eagles. Who are you calling?
Ooh, I'm a Bills fan.
Girl, I'm a Patriots fan.
Buffalo Bills, New York, all the way.
Patriots. Okay, let's keep going. We're talking about all things mentorship. I have my team.
Hi, Nay.
Where do you see Nay?
Nay said hi to
Nay.
me.
Oh.
That's nice.
Can you talk about what you do on a junior board? Are you on any boards?
I'm on a board, but it's like an academic board.
Okay, got it. In terms of junior boards, what you'll mostly be doing is like helping folks fundraise, and it also depends on the board. It actually gets pretty nuanced. So some boards are really focused on like just general membership. So some of these larger boards like Apollo, Alvin Ailey, you'll really just be like engaging with other people and attending events and like maybe doing some fundraising. Some boards are really intensive, and some boards you are required to fundraise a specific amount, find new members, host events. You'll be a part of a steering committee. So it also depends on the size and scope of the organization. So it depends. But I would say the main skills you can anticipate to get are going to be leadership, communication, depending on event planning, perhaps fundraising skills. So it just depends. Okay.
That's great.
Talk about Pinterest. Okay. Someone said, I'm currently pursuing a comms degree, so I have all the questions. I was actually a communications major as well. In terms of internships, I did Lewis Carr. I know there's also T. Howard. Is there any other comms internships?
I didn't have any internships. I wanted to be an actress, so I was pursuing that. And once I got a movie and it never worked out, I realized I needed a real job. So I networked. I mean, I always went to career fairs from being a freshman in school, but my first job out of school was Nielsen. And that at the time was an industry currency. And the way I got the job was I apply for the job, but then I call around to try to find the hiring manager, get in touch and pretend to have a question just so that I know my resume's on their radar. But that's like what comms girlies do, right?
They're hustlers.
Hunt people down. We don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
We build up our networks. And if somebody gives us a business card, we're going to email them. We're going to connect. It's all about the follow-up after the no in communications.
Oh, I agree with that. Someone said, what's your info so we can follow?
Oh my gosh. I mean, LinkedIn is pretty good. I'm Elizabeth Luke, and I'm Eliz Luke on TikTok, but I don't really post on TikTok.
You don't post on TikTok.
I don't know. Organizations should have comms major. So once you know comms, you can't unsee it. In every movie, every kind of major public figure, every political figure, every CEO, when you look in the movies, you're going to see someone standing right behind them. That's either the chief of staff or the comms person. So almost every company has a comms person. There are agencies that are dedicated to communications. And what are we about? We're about shaping public perception. So how does the brand show up in the world? What's the buzz we can generate? And how can we make them famous?
Okay, I have a question for you. If I wanted comms for my own personal life, what are some strategies that I could deploy? Let's say you do comms for big executives. Me, Jody K. Taylor, regular person. What comms strategies would you deploy to amplify my profile?
Yeah, so it's interesting because building an audience is different than generating comms.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So the things that everybody might want to hear is helpful, right? Like I think you do a lot of like really helpful content, but sometimes the content that you generate that breaks through is a little bit different because it's about timeliness and uniqueness. So you don't want to be the person saying water is wet.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody knows that. It's all about what is the angle, what is the hook to something that's kind of be like an aha moment and non-traditional, right? And so that's one way. The other way, and it's a little bit more interesting to navigate, is controversy.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting into, situations.
I think a lot of this
having
controversy
perspective
is manufactured too.
Yes, but you have to have the right way of managing it. But controversy is also a way. It's all about things that are counterintuitive, against the grain, conflict, and timeliness. Like, when you had some of your glow up content around the new year and things like that, and it got in the New York Times, like that kind of stuff as well.
See, she's a good comms girl right now. Do you see how? Wait, in the moment, you just placed me and gave me validation, and like you had content that was in the New York Times. You're good at your job.
Look at that.
And I know you did that on purpose too. I know you. Okay. Okay. I think you're thinking about my mentor from 2 weeks ago. Her name is Ms. Hot Hunter. It's MZHAUTE Hunter. Start a new job and want to create a brand. Okay, starting a new job and creating a brand for yourself.
I love this. I think firstly, think about what are you genuinely good at, right? Like how can you be of service? And then I think it's creating a brand is your brand, right? But it's also the perceptions of your brand.
So speak on it.
When you get a new job, especially now in a remote world, go on a listening tour with everyone. And instead of talking about work, the first time I meet people at work, I always have a conversation. What's your story? How did you get here? And we talk about a mix of personal and professional, and you have to think about what your story is and how you got there, right? And so for my brand, for example, I joke around, I say, I'm a failed actress because I did pursue acting, But what I've realized is I love making my clients famous. And so for me, I want to be associated with fame, with success, with outcomes, with results. And also the idea that I'm really in service to making my clients succeed. So I think about your story. Me, I'm the person who likes to make my clients famous. Do something that's catchy, right? Like what is your summary in 140 characters? There's some people that are really good at breaking down obstacles. There's some people that are really good at making connections. There's some people that are really creative thinkers. I have a friend that is a creative producer. So she helps brands bring events to life, but she's also a creative. So what we came up for her was she puts the creative and creative producer. That she can understand both worlds, right?
I like that.
So think about what you can do that will really stick out.
I love that. I love a good tagline. I was doing something called a sprint mastermind yesterday. I'm going to do a video on this because it was just so impactful. But a sprint mastermind is when a bunch of entrepreneurs get together and you bring your problem to this group of entrepreneurs. So you will say, hey, like for me, I'm doing a masterclass course, like a Glow Up masterclass course. Okay, here is the problem. Is it scaling? Is it content? Whatever. And then all of these entrepreneurs, some have raised over $1 million in VC funding. One was a brick and mortar wine store. Another person had worked at a VC fund and was creating like a community platform. So they have all of these unique perspectives, but basically they get together and not only critique your idea, but also like sort of the intention is to create a prototype or MVP for you at the end, but it's like a brain trust of people who all give you your ideas. And the reason I brought that up is one thing that we all walked away with was some sort of like tagline. So almost like a reduced version of like how you just said, putting the creative
and creative producer.
Creative producer. What's yours again?
I like to make my clients famous.
I like to make my clients famous. Yes. Like having a tagline, helping women design their best lives. I'm still working on mine. But I think that's a pro tip of like have a tagline where in both personal and professional settings, and ideally they should be married, but being able to come up with a tagline is what we all walked away from. And one exercise that someone did, it was for her business, but we went through her website and almost did like a word cloud. And the word that kept coming up for her was storytelling. She said storytelling the most on her website. So we were like, okay, storytelling is the nexus. Yeah. Of the tagline. And I forget what we actually ended up with, but like the word storytelling was really critical in that. So go through your social media, go through your LinkedIn, go through your resume, go through like what people ask you advice on. What is the one thing? If it's storytelling, if it's career, whatever it is, and have that be the crux of your tagline. We all need a tagline.
Yes. Another thing is, again, don't be afraid to go niche. So for me, even though I'm a Black woman and I care about culture, another thing that I've gotten well known for is working in the advertising industry and ads comms. So if you look at me, you know I'm going to be able to get you that piece in Adweek or Ad Age or TechCrunch or any of those ads publications, which is quite a small niche, but very influential with those groups. And so when I go on a job interview, I'm dropping names because I'm a comms person of the people I have connections with in that small community. But that's, if I'm on the right interview, the community really matters.
That matters. Someone said, how do we make money from our pins?
Yeah, Pinterest is great. I mean, first of all, Pinterest is great for driving traffic. So if you have a site and you want to get people to go to your site, then we have things like affiliate links and, you know, it's, I think, pretty easy to figure out, but we have affiliate links. And then on kind of a larger scale, we work with creators on partnerships and things like that.
Okay. I saw a video on affiliate links. So basically you create a Pinterest board that is discoverable, and then you have affiliate links that people can then shop on like an LTK, right?
I honestly don't know as much on the creator side of things.
Okay.
It's possible.
That makes sense. Command, okay. Oop. I just went all the way to the bottom. Girl, you're not late. We just getting started. Someone said, is she in PR? Yes. What's your name again? Elizabeth. Oh, hey, Lizzie girl.
Oh my gosh. That is my mentee.
Cece?
Yes.
Hi, Cece.
Hi, Sierra.
Every time I'm in one of these lives and I bring someone, it's called a mastermind. It's a mastermind sprint. It's basically based off of this book called Sprint. I forget who the author is, but it's a blue book with like a yellow writing. Read the book Sprint, and it talks about entrepreneurial sprints. One of my homegirls is going to start doing this for Black entrepreneurs, where she brings together Black entrepreneurs to essentially, it's broken down into, you have to state your problem statement. They have 15 minutes to ask you questions. Then we all separate and we write all of our ideas down on Post-it notes for 25 to 30 minutes. We come back together and then we present those Post-it notes. And then we use a whiteboard and then we aggregate the Post-it notes. So if everyone is talking about, you should be focusing on content creation, all of those Post-it notes. So we sort of categorize them into like mind clouds. And then at the end, we're like, you need an MVP. Here's what your MVP is going to be.
Wow.
So it's
Sounds
great.
amazing.
I recently started... Okay, Swissa30 said, I recently started my first ticketed event. Sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place. Give us some more content on how we can how to prepare for a job interview.
Ooh, I'm a Google News girl. Google, go to the newsroom on their website. Maybe if you have it in you, just scan through their earnings report, go to the newsroom, and then put the company name in Google News and see what's been happening in the company for the past year.
That's a good one. I also say have stories in your back pocket.
That's good.
Yeah, I have a story of like a time that I failed, a time that I was an effective communicator, a time that I like drove results, and then like maybe one other story, collaboration, something like that. And basically then you can finesse. They're gonna ask like the same 4 or 5 questions, just in different ways. So you can kind of massage it in the way. So maybe they won't say, tell me about a time when you failed, but tell me about a time where you faced an obstacle at work and how did you overcome it? Now you already have a framework to work off of. So have your stories down pat. And I used to work recruiting like young kids into investment banks. And within the first 30 seconds, we knew if they would make it. And so have a really strong intro and have a really strong hi, how are you? Because once you have a perception, you are going to be working throughout the interview to negate that perception if it's not a good one. So be very intentional.
Good. Your intro is your elevator pitch.
What's your elevator pitch? Oh,
I just gave it, the famous thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The other thing I think is always a good tip is bring in a statistic.
That is true.
96% of people, like half of the world is frustrated with social media right now. When you put in a number, you just sound so smart. So find a relevant statistic. Or I see with your business, you drove $96 million last year, and that sounds like a really good opportunity to continue, something like that.
That's a good one. So I was on a panel, and Lily coached me through this panel because she's amazing, and she was like, you gave me some really good tips. It's like usually you either want to entertain or educate.
Yes.
Did I make that up? You told me
yes.
that. And also like anecdotal data or statistical data. Yeah, numbers, numerical data.
Oh, you remember.
Because it was transformative. You were like, you need to be both entertaining and informative. Because when I'm on panels, I want to be smart. And Lily's like, you're on a panel, nobody really cares. Like, make sure that you are entertaining. So be like, hey guys, like remember when we all did that? And also 96% of blah, blah, blah. And that's all you really need to focus on. So she's amazing. If you're like having a speaking engagement, she helps me get right for them. Someone said, who's the most influential person in your life?
Who's the most influential person in your life?
Me? Yes, this will be on YouTube. Oop, I just invited someone to join the live. Oh, Tiffany Butler. Who wants to join the live? Who is the most influential person in my life? Oh, I need to think about that one. None of y'all be influencing me. Someone said she really ate that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Ah, period.
Yes, this is a refreshing live.
Wow.
Lily. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
How fun is this?
This is great advice. Thank you.
I love it.
Oh, that's so cute. Give hearts to Lily. Oh, they
Thanks.
love you. Okay, it's like Doja Cat and Lori had a baby. Oh.
Period.
Thank you.
Clearly, that's what you.
Elizabeth Luke on LinkedIn. They found you, girl. What do you suggest? Okay, we can skip that one.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Jody. Hey, girl. I'm applying for MAPE. Okay, MAPE is a good one.
Nice.
Ooh, this lighting is not great. Okay. I have a son in high school. Are there any mentorship programs you know for boys? Shoot, in high school, I know.
There were some.
You know some? What is going on?
It's been a while since I've been in that space, but there's
Which one do you know for boys?
one specifically. 100 Black Men is like.
I was gonna say
something.
100 Black Men. 100 Black Men in an emerging 100, but that is not high school. I think that's like once they get into college. So I don't know anything for high school, but I would say college, 100 Black Men and emerging. I think it's called the Emerging 100. Those are the two.
I would check also, depending on where you live, I would check at local universities and see if any local universities have programs for high schoolers.
That's a good one. I found you last night. Stayed up watching.
Oh my
thank
gosh.
you. Thanks, babe. Is this recorded so I can watch later? This will all be on YouTube. So follow me on YouTube, same handle. Someone said, how do you find a good mentor?
Is that me or you? You take
Wait,
that.
girl, both of us can take it. Okay, I'll start. Finding a good mentor. So an exercise that I like to do is I spend time on LinkedIn and I will find the profiles of like 4 to 5 women that I really admire. So it can be from a career standpoint, a social standpoint, whatever. And then I will sort of like reverse engineer their career. So like, how did they get here? What affiliations are they a part of? What did they do nonprofit? Did they do this? Blah, blah, and also figure out as many synergies between them as I can. I also have to be clear on what my intention is. I think people see successful people and they're like, I want them to mentor me, but not every person needs to be your mentor. So getting clarity on how this person can advance you. When I did the live with my mentor, she was like, people ask me to mentor them all the time. And I have no idea how to, like, we are in 2 completely different career paths. So that's why the reverse engineering of LinkedIn is helpful. So you can say, okay, we have this overlap and here's the gap that I have and here's how they can fill it. So honestly, LinkedIn, and then proximity is how you meet everyone. If you want to meet a husband, if you want to meet a mentor, if you want to meet a friend, it is going to happen at a conference. It's going to be a part of the same organization. It's going to be vacationing in the same spot. So I've met mentors in Martha's Vineyard because we're vacationing together for 2 weeks. We are on the same board. I've met one of my mentors at Soho House and one of my friends was friends with her. And so she ended up writing a referral to me into this like really exclusive organization. But I met her at Soho House because of mutual friends. So proximity is honestly the way that you'll meet them. But once again, be very clear on what your intention is, because there is this sort of annoying thing that happens when someone's like, oh, just mentor me because you seem to be doing well. But I can't really add value. So just be very clear.
Yeah, I say throw the title mentor out. Like, don't worry about mentor this, mentor that. Like, who cares about the title, right? It's just, first of all, sweat the equity you have around you. You all have women and men that can be your mentors. You don't have to go and say, hi, will you sign on the dotted line and become my mentor? That doesn't matter. Hold yourself accountable for developing the relationship. Even if they're not officially your mentor, if they're answering your email, they're your mentor. If they are not answering your first email, and you follow up again and they answer your second email, they can be your mentor. It doesn't need to be a title. The onus is on you to develop and keep people updated. So example, first of all, one of my mentees, we had a relationship. I met her when I was at SC. She just got a job at Pinterest through my referral, which really helped. Secondly, Cece, who's on this call, Cece took it upon herself when she worked at Pinterest in another department. She saw me, met me, and then she said, I already know. She was like, okay, and that's it. And the second I had a job opening, she took it upon herself to volunteer, do extra work, so that when that job opportunity came, Sierra took it. So that's another example of mentorship. And for me, when I was fresh out of college, I joined one of the Black employee resource groups at Nielsen. There was a woman who just blew my mind in how organized and competent and amazing she was. And I just set up time to talk to her and said, tell me about your career. By the end of that call, she told me, I was working on the consulting side of the business and I don't even know how to ad. So I didn't have a good future there. And she was on the comms team and I had a conversation. I said, you sound amazing. I'd love to learn from you. I told her my story. By the end of the conversation, she said, you're applying for a job on the comms team. There's an opening. And I was like, no, I don't want to be in comms. Like, I was so mad because I was a failed actress at that time. And she was like, so anyway, you're applying. And I was like, so anyway, I'm applying. You'll see my application tomorrow. And then a few months later, I completely pivoted and jumped into communications, and I've been there ever since. So shout out to Lauren Grant at the Grant Access, who's absolutely incredible because she changed my life. So mentors also can be, they don't need to be a lifelong thing. They can be a period in your life to help you up level from one place to another. But I just think we can throw the title of mentor out and just cultivate relationships with the people we think we can learn from in that moment. And the onus is on you to be able to be opportunistic.
That's my friend, y'all. Go ahead, girl. See, I surround myself with the smartest people in the world, and that's why I'm that girl, because I got smart friends. I'm in fundraising. How should I brand myself in the philanthropy space? Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna let you
Fundraising is tough. Fundraising is really tough. I'm still trying to figure this one out, because I'm on some boards too, and like Jody said, boards equal fundraising. That one is really hard. I think that that one is, first of all, it's networking with high worth individuals.
Yeah.
So it's about, because you could actually not be very good at fundraising, but then have one rich friend who can change it all for you. So in that, I think being able to surround yourself with high network individuals is important. And then also being the solution to a problem and showing that you have the results on it, because, you know, getting people to give you that money and support you. But I think this is one of the hardest things to do. Get people to spend money in the places you'd like them to put it. All I can do is get the headline. So that one's tougher for me.
That one is tough. Thank you usually by the food, yeah. Ed tech, I don't know much about
ed tech. What I will say is, in the ed tech space, again, same way we have Ad Week, Ad Age for the ad space, Billboard and the Hollywood Reporter for music and Hollywood, there's higher ed trade publications. So I would try to find kind of the biggest trade publication in the space and start reading the news and seeing what's happening in the space, right? And then once you'll see that there are key players that are absolutely crushing ed tech, and then there are going to be secondary and, like, you know, third kind of in the space, and chase after those companies. And that's how I would try to break in.
Boom. Desiree said, Jody, I appreciate you sharing your network with us. Of course. I'm so blessed. When do you know you need to change careers? I'm in a role where I have to public speak and I hate it. I'm going to push back on that one. I can understand if you don't want a career that is like the critical skill of it is public speaking. If you know that's not a skill set that you want to master, or you don't want it to be a part of your daily routine, fine. But public speaking is going to chase you no matter what job especially if you want to be successful in that career. Even when I worked at Google, we would have software engineers. Software engineers are one of the few roles that you really don't need to have great communication skills, but the ones that did were the ones who were leading, who were making millions of dollars. So public speaking is the one skill.
Also, every meeting you're in is a public speaking opportunity. So, yeah.
It is a critical skill, and I fundamentally believe you cannot be successful in business, entrepreneurship, leadership if you don't know how to public speak well. Public speaking, influencing, selling, like those are the skills. So I would actually challenge you to use this opportunity. I don't know if you need to change your career now. I would use an opportunity to use this as a teaching ground and up level your public speaking, and then consider pivoting out. The only time I consider pivoting out of a job, I think I'm someone, I leave a job, but only when I'm at a point of diminishing returns. When I'm not getting any ROI out of the job, that's when I leave. So ROI looks like compensation, it looks like upskilling, it looks like exposure, opportunity, learning new skills, building a network. If those are gone, okay, then I leave. But if I still have like 3 of those things, I might not like it, but there's still upside for me being there, so I will stay at a job. I think for you, I'm actually going to encourage you to stay at this job until you know how to public speak. Yes. And maybe you don't love it, but at least you feel confident doing it, and then I would consider leaving.
Yeah, it's like, do you hate your job or do you hate public speaking? And if you hate public speaking, why? Because that's what we need to dig into.
Health check.
PR for corporate healthcare PR. There are a lot of agencies that specialize in, the question is, do you work in health tech or can recommend good PR for corporate healthcare PR? So it sounds to me like you're almost looking for an agency. So there are like agencies that specialize, and then Edelman, like one of the biggest PR agencies in the world, for example, they have like healthcare practices. So there's definitely a big space for that, because there's a lot of money in healthcare. So there's a lot of comms in healthcare.
Okay, let's go down, because I think we've answered a lot. Any tips for junior AI and Okay, hold on. Any tips for a junior AI and advertising attorney currently, but most opportunities are for senior level?
Yeah, listen, AI isn't going anywhere. And so even though it's senior level now, AI is a critical skill. And if you understand AI law, that is an excellent specialty to invest in for the long term for your career. So even if right now, it looks like they're mostly senior level, that could change in 2 to 3 months. So continue to build out your area of expertise. That's an excellent niche. Yeah. And 5 years from now, you're going to be in a really, really good, even less, but like you'll be good within the next year. You'll be good within the next year. 5 years from now, you're going to be at the top, like all this stuff with Meta and, all of these other tech companies that are in the zeitgeist every day. Now it's about OpenAI, Anthropic, all of the work that's happening with Google and Facebook. So definitely stay in AI.
I love it.
And you pass it.
Okay. Someone said Ketchum as well. Yeah, Ketchum.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is an amazing. Okay, let's see. What are some places to spend? Where do you see? What are some places to stay on the vineyard you would recommend, especially for the idea of proximity? I think it depends on proximate to what. And also the vineyard is small, so I know some people who don't stay in like the places, but I think Edgartown, Vineyard Haven, and Oak Bluffs are where most people stay.
And find it now.
I was about to say, you need to start looking now. We found our houses in December, and be ready to spend $10,000 on housing, transport. All of that is a very expensive place to go. Also, be ready. It's not a turn up. Very family friendly. So also be mindful. If you are thinking like, oh my God, this is about to be my lit vacation. No, girl, it's about to be very chill. But Toastmasters is great. Yeah, that's a great call out. If you're not feeling comfortable with public speaking, Toastmasters is a really great way.
When I was in acting class, I was taught to talk into a mirror, or another one is talk into an inanimate object. Talk into a plastic water bottle. Practice that so you can feel comfortable speaking into like non-human inanimate. That one's like practicing talking into a camera, but I think it's still great if you can feel comfortable in front of a plastic water bottle. You can feel comfortable in front of a phone or a mirror, because sometimes a mirror can be a little distracting.
Yeah. And also, sometimes when I public speak at work, you'll be talking to a group of senior executives. They're not going to give you validation when you speak. So they're not going to nod. They're not going to smile. Like most senior executives are going to be like this when you're speaking to them. And so when you're public speaking, oftentimes we're looking for a reaction or validation to keep going. But I love this because this will help, like that will help you not always search for a reaction and still be able to sort of power through and get to your point. Because most executives are not going to give you the validation that you're looking for. Another thing helpful with public speaking, I used to, read. I talk about that all the time. Read. Don't listen to audiobooks. Read. It helps with sentence structure and elocution. Read aloud. Like read your pages out loud to a silent room. And then I used to, growing up, have to do book reports. Like every time I read a book, I would have to say, here's what the book, and I learned how to like structure my thoughts that way. Like, here's what it was about. Here are the 3 key themes. This is why I liked this book. And so I would have to like rehearse public speaking growing up. So that helps a lot too. How do you slow down when public speaking? I speak fast in general. I need to speak faster when I'm nervous.
It's like take a breath.
Yeah.
Practice. Fix your posture. So to be super tactical, Delaney, the way I would do it is you have to rehearse. Because a lot of times when people are nervous, they pick up the speed.
Yeah.
So firstly, you need to get your key messages down right. Are you just talking too much? Is it too much to say? Do you need to cut it down? And then when you're rehearsing what you have to say, especially in the beginning, you rehearse more and then you get more seasoned and you rehearse less. But in the beginning, write down your key talking points, put on a timer and time yourself
that's good.
For time. And then from there, you can time yourself and put yourself on camera if you'd like. And then from there, you can kind of continue to rehearse in different iterations of camera and timer. But I think the key thing is also, is there a way you can synthesize your idea more clearly?
Yeah.
And if you have talking points, put it in ChatGPT and say, how can I make this more succinct?
That's
and
good,
then
Lily.
less is more always. So just try to keep it succinct and practice it and use a timer.
That's really good advice. I love that. I also like to listen to public speakers who, like Obama is someone who really has mastered cadence and pacing. So sometimes I find it helpful before I'm about to public speak to listen to a public speaker who has good pacing. And that almost like allows me to kind of soak it in and then apply that to whatever I'm about to say. So maybe listen to some public speakers who really know how to sort of capture an audience by not only their words, but like their intonalities, their hand gestures, and you can sort of mimic some of that as well.
And just breathe.
Yeah, just breathe.
Because again, we're not trying to inform, we're just trying to entertain.
That's good. I agree. I think sometimes we think of public speaking too much as like, I have to sound smart, I have to sound smart, I have to sound smart. You have to engage. You got to get people engaged. Who is here speaking with Jody? Full name. Okay, give whatever you're comfortable giving. What's your best?
I'm Elizabeth, but I also go by Lily Luke on Instagram, and I'm Jody's PR person.
Yeah, and friend.
And
hello.
friend. Well, yeah.
Oh, we not? Excuse? Get me back on my shit there. I'm taking my top.
Jody's told you about her goodie
Oh, I have a goodie drawer, yeah.
And I was deep in there, I'll just say.
Oops, I'm not supposed to swear on here. Okay, tips on becoming, I think we gave some tips on becoming a better public speaker.
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
I get so choked up.
Yeah, you just gotta practice. I get it.
Let's see. I don't want my brand to be confusing. Jackie, Rena, I think we need, maybe you type some more. Oh, okay, there we did. She did. She said, as someone that's multi-hyphenate, how can I bridge this on socials? That's a great question.
I have trouble with multi-hyphenate.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I really think that a clear brand is one thing. So if you can have an umbrella, like what is it across journalism and real estate that you're good at in both spaces? Because if you're a multi-hyphenate, there's still a through line that is making you magical at everything you do. So I would focus on that and not necessarily all the different things, because we live in a world where we're all overstimulated so much that too many messages can be really difficult. If you want to have two, that's fine. But going beyond that, now it's too much. And I personally start to think you're a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, I think that's good. One of the girls who I work with in my masterclass is a matchmaker, also works in talent acquisition, and then something else. But to your point, there's a through line of connecting people.
Exactly.
So matchmaker, talent acquisition, business, all kind of sound like disparate things. But when we refine her elevator pitch, it's I'm really great at seeing potential and seeing connection. And then it's like, oh, all of this makes sense now.
Well, so, talent acquisition is matchmaking
a job. Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly. So just being able to synthesize what is the key skill that makes you good at all of those. Okay. Tips for advancing your legal career.
I think don't look at legal as just legal, right? Like all of us have to work our networks. I think like in the first, decade of my career, I was really focused on results, like especially as a woman of color. It doesn't matter, as long as I get results, I will gain respect at the company. And what I've learned, especially as we kind of rise to more senior ranks, is it's the how and the who, and really investing in the relationships with important people, particularly those that you don't even really care for that much, is really, really important. And so that's what I've been working on for the past year and a half.
I think that's great. I think that's really good. Yeah, everyone is qualified, and I think that's what I've come to learn the more senior I get in my career. The people who stand out are the people who have really strong personal brands and create evangelists and opportunities to showcase those personal brands. So whether that's through social media, whether that's through being on the speaker circuit, but being able to have a clear, consistent brand and then be able to let people know what that brand is and have perception high about that brand, that's really advancing.
And don't depend on your manager to be the purveyor of your brand, right? Because when that happens, if your manager leaves or you don't get along with your manager or your manager shifts because of things that are going on in their life that have nothing to do with you, now you put all your eggs in one basket. So be sure to create relationships across the company when you're building your brand.
That's good. Entryway into board service. Sometimes it's referral, sometimes it's simply application. A lot of them, especially in New York, are just applying, and then you might have an interview. And then, especially when we're talking about like Alvin Ailey, Apollo, which are really big junior boards, a lot of it is just applying.
Referral. And networking your way in.
Yeah, it's really... Okay, I'm also curious what people are saying. Okay, how to effectively transition between careers.
Ooh.
Can we get a little bit more context on what the two careers are? I think that will help us better understand what we need to focus on. Okay, just joined. Who is your social media mentor? That's right, social media mentor.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Lily Luke. Lillyluke. I do PR.
Someone said the legal baddies are in the building. Jack of all trades is the master of none. Okay, let's go. I love how many lawyers are in here. Oh my gosh, been following Jody for a minute now, and I'm moderating a panel in a few weeks.
Ooh.
Any tips? Oh, this is Lily's specialty. So go ahead.
Should I? Okay.
Please share what you've shared with me.
Yeah, I think we said it earlier. You're trying to put on a show. I know that we're trying to get people to learn, but I find panels are very boring. Snooze fest. So I think what you should do is really think about your topic and research the speakers in advance. See what they can really truly speak to, and ask questions that are a little more provocative. give people something to think about. Don't just deliver the alphabet. We all know A to Z, but how can you mix it up? Make sure that you include statistics and anecdotes, because that brings a level of storytelling to this. And so I think all of those, I really recommend having a prep call as a moderator. So don't just walk in and everyone just kind of is throwing everything up in the air. What I love is a prep call. Start talking about the conversation formally or informally. Use a recording device like Otter or something to record and take notes on the panel so that you kind of have a sense of where the conversation went. And then following that prep call, you can say, okay, based on the conversation, here are the questions I'd like to ask, and then go from there. So just, it's all about preparation.
I love that. I also find it really helpful if, as a moderator, you assign, or like we co-assign questions, because on a panel, sometimes you'll find, especially if it's a panel of like 4, keep the panel as tight as possible. When it starts to get into that 5, 6,
no 5.
It's a mess. But if it's like 4 people, everyone, usually in panel settings, we all are egotistical, so everyone is going to want to chime in about one question. If you're saying, Jody, can you answer this one based off of the skill sets and the research that you've done?
Right.
And then people can add in if they have a true value add, but assigning one person to a question, and you know it's their area of expertise, also helps the panel go a little bit more smoothly. People can anticipate, and not everyone is chiming in, which makes it just so long and boring and protracted. So assigning is, I think, an amazing thing that moderators do. And another tip, whenever I moderate a panel, as people are speaking, I take like their gem. So if Lily has this amazing point around like, you're here to educate, not entertain, I write it down. And then at the end of the panel, I'll say, we learned so much today. Lily, you talked about entertaining and not informing. That was amazing. You talked about this. And then you sort of recap the panel with like the highlight gems. That's always like did that. So that's what I would recommend.
And like, here to entertain and not educate is a little controversial, right? Like, what do you mean you're not here to educate?
Yeah.
What's the point of it? And that's about the provocation that you need to be able to offer people.
Yeah, provocation is good. Okay, let's get some juicy questions in here. Uncut. Okay, let's do some juicy questions, because I know we love career.
Yes.
Oh, when should a person use PR services as they brand themselves to the public? That's a good question. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany. Well, first of all, it's an investment. So when
How much is it normally?
I mean, in the thousands of dollars.
Monthly or annually?
Well, not everybody needs monthly. You don't have enough news on a monthly basis, right? Like, I think that if you are thinking about branding yourself to the public, I personally, I don't really like personal brand PR, because there's no news. The best PR is grounded in news. Are you launching a book? Are you launching a new initiative? Are you launching a company? Have you signed on a big partner? That's news, and then that's used to advance something forward, as opposed to being like, hi, I'm Elizabeth Luke, and I really like communications. Like, that is way harder to land. It's possible, but you're going to pay a PR a lot, because they have to put a lot of sweat equity, and they're going to get a lot of no's because you don't have any news. Always start with the news. And how do you find news? News is new. Anything that is new for the first time, never in the history of man has this happened, or new book, new movie, that's when news. It makes the most sense.
Love it. Okay, perfect. Let's see what the juicy questions are. How would you go about PR for an artist?
Depends on the artist. I have a friend that just put on her first solo show in Brooklyn. And so again, news, right? And her show is all about the history of Black women and in slavery, you know, how they kind of went through Virginia, and how her work draws from that. So, you know, it's really about finding that hook.
Good. Okay. What is the best?
As a comms exec,
I co-sign this. Oh, this is a good question.
Wow.
Oh, this is a good question. Crisis management for Diddy, what would you do? Okay, maybe not Diddy. Is Diddy too far gone?
I think, yeah.
Okay, maybe we can
do
but someone else.
He does have a crisis manager. I would say that person's getting paid a lot of money to just tell him to hide. Yeah.
Okay, let's do another scenario.
Okay.
If you were Lori Harvey, how would you brand yourself right now? Because she just did this Playboy thing, which I'm like, okay, move. How would you rebrand?
Oh, so was that not good for her?
I don't know. You tell me. Do you think
I don't know enough. Okay, I can more so go into like, what about the Blake Lively stuff?
Okay,
Are we following that here?
Can we get a black person?
Okay. I'm trying to think about who is like in this.
Y'all, give us a good black person.
Yeah, Diddy is a little tough.
Diddy might be too far gone. Tiffany, I love
what
this.
I would probably do, I don't know.
Oh, someone did say Blake Lively. Too far gone.
Yeah,
Rehab.
yeah.
Maybe Blake Lively. Or crisis management for Target. What's going on at Target? Oh, someone said Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. Ooh, Chris Brown is interesting. Okay, I like the Chris Brown one.
Okay.
Because I will disclose that oh my God, I can't.
These are so many.
Dog. No, I can't even get it.
ASAP Rocky is a good one.
ASAP Rocky's done a great turnaround. Okay, let's go.
No, but remember he's going to jail now.
ASAP Rocky? Oh no.
Okay. Who are you about to go with?
Wait, who were we about to go with?
You were about to go with
somebody. I know, and then there was so many other people I forgot.
She was about to go. Chris Brown.
Okay, so Chris Brown went through. He deservedly went through a lot, and I think that if I were to work with Chris Brown, I would have empathy for him and think about how good of a performer he is, how he's on tour now, all the great work he's doing, and then just focus on niche community. Like start with niche community building again, really interacting and engaging with fans, doing the best tour ever, continuing to get his music out and his dancing out on social as he's doing right now.
That's right.
And understand that it's going to kind of always be a divisive situation because it's easy to not forgive an artist, but if you continue to deliver and pivot and niche, and then I might even come out with like, instead of going for a Grammy, maybe our goal is to come out with some sort of new business proposition. Maybe it's like a clothing line or some sort of new product, or maybe an investor in something, like channel his money in a different way, so that he can be repositioned maybe in business or something like that. And maybe the business can have something that's a little bit more like for good. But I think really just tapping into niche, because there's so many people who still love Breezy, even though it can be a little problematic. Who did someone say Kai Cenat?
They said Chris going on Kai Cenat's chat was a great move.
That was. It really humanized him for sure.
Would you have done anything different for Lizzo?
Lizzo, I haven't followed as much, and there's so many different parts to that story. She's had a lot of different flubs.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
she
with
has.
crisis management with these celebrities, it's an inevitability. It's not even about like, oh, like what happened. It's like, when is it going to happen? And understanding. I mean, even you, Jody, you've had people that are coming for you. No, I'm just saying, like,
how did I get in it?
What I'm saying is that it doesn't matter, even if you don't do anything. People are going to come for you as a public figure. It's just what's going to happen. And also, you know, you just got to keep moving forward. Believe in the strength of your product and your brand.
Did you see the Slim Kim thing about I hate being, or I'm scared of being fat?
Oh God, what?
Oh, okay, never mind. Anyways, I'll just say it's a matter of
Drake.
time.
Ooh, Drake
matter of
is
time.
tough. He needs to just sit down for a minute.
I think Drake. I think he also needs to pivot into business.
Well, no, he's capable. I think he needs to like just stay quiet until the Super Bowl. Be quiet during the Super Bowl.
I think he needs to be quiet for a year.
I think a year is fine.
I think a year.
Yeah, I think a year is fine. Go on vacation.
Yeah.
Like start thinking about what you're gonna put in your new album. I'm sure he can bounce back because like he can make those pop hits. Just wait until summer 2026.
He needs a good summer pop hit. That's what he needs. A good summer pop hit.
And he needs that lawsuit. He needs to like.
That was crazy.
Sort that out.
That was great, especially when he said anti-Semitic.
Yeah, there's just so much
girl, you doing too much. Okay, let's see. Ooh, so many people. How do you present yourself as ambitious and feminine in the dating scene?
Ooh.
Not you got it, girl. You go ahead.
Okay.
I think we can tag team.
Yeah,
I'll start. Okay. Ambitious and feminine. I think there is. My personal opinion is a lot of men actually want ambitious women, particularly when I think about. I think there's two subsets of successful men. I know black men the best. I can't speak for all types of men. I know black men the best, but this generalization I think I feel comfortable with. I think there is the athlete and entertainer subset, and then there's also the corporate successful, and then also like a third, entrepreneurial. I think sometimes we over-index in the athlete and entertainer. So, like a lot of our news and information about dating and relationships is coming from that subset, when that doesn't apply to 99% of us. So I would say like this like super baddie aesthetic and like asking for a Chanel bag and a trip on the front. That is for a very specific subset. So take that out. When we're talking about corporate people and even entrepreneurs, they're looking for women who are, and I'm also heterosexual, so I can only speak from this vantage point as well. They're looking for people who are ambitious, enterprising. Every single one of my guy friends, even if they really won't fully care what school you go to, but if you do go to Harvard Law, they're going to bring that up. And like when they're talking in their group chats about you, they're going to be like, oh, and she went to Harvard Law. Oh, and she went to USC and she went to Northwestern. They deeply do care about ambition. So don't let anyone say like, I think the issue is when ambition and education and career is used as like, is used as an identity in the same way that when men overuse money, like if they're successful and they only talk about money, it's viewed as like, okay, this is kind of weird. It should just be like a nice add-on, but don't hinge your identity on like having a master's degree. Don't hinge your identity on like, oh, I'm corporate. Like it should just be something that is part of your identity in the same way that other things are part of your identity. So I would say don't shy away from the fact that you're ambitious, but don't over-rely on it because it can get taxing in the same way that over-relying on anything, being a homeowner, being successful, even being beautiful, there's nothing worse than a woman who's just like, I'm a baddie. It's just one of the many things that are part of you. So femininity, I think there's a lot of ways to display femininity. I think a lot of femininity, in my opinion, comes down to emotional control and depth. So if you're able to manage emotions in a healthy way. So let's say he might do something that you don't like and you're able to say, hey, this actually really hurt my feelings. Here's why. And I would love if you did this in the future. That to me is feminine versus being like, man, you were up to some shit. That is like getting into the masculine energy. So being able to have a range of emotional depth, be attuned to your emotions and share that in a safe and comfortable way. I think is like the crux of femininity. I also think there's a lot of like femininity signaling that you can do. You know, we were talking about this at brunch. When I go on dates, I will oftentimes like pour water for both myself and for the other person because I'm thoughtful and considerate of the other person. And that signals like I am able to, I have skills of like caretaking. And I'm not saying don't be performative, but I would do that for one of my homegirls because I care and value her and I want to showcase that I'm taking care of her. So there are some things that you can also do that will signal femininity that I think, I don't know, I wish someone told me the game, so I'm telling y'all the game.
I wish I knew earlier.
What are your thoughts?
I was like, that's so stupid. Why would any guy be threatened by my career? That's so lame of them. No one's ever going to do that. And then I did notice that happened a few times to me. So I think that kind of thinking about tactical femininity almost, firstly, if you're ambitious is naturally, unfortunately, associated with masculinity, right? So I've been doing a lot of work in my feminine energy the past few years, and one of the skills that I really liked is to look at the feelings wheel. Like Google a feelings wheel, and when you're on a date or meeting someone, make sure that you're at least 1 to 2 times using language from your feelings wheel. Like, oh, you know, like, I celebrated my friend's birthday the other day and that made me really happy. Or, you know, I had a long work week and I was feeling stressed about it. Like just being able to communicate in your emotions, I think is great. And then the other thing is that even if you're ambitious, you want to show that you are a full person and that your job isn't your everything. So for example, in the past few years, I've gotten really into NFL. Like, and listen, there are a lot of issues with NFL, but you know what? At the end of the day, sometimes you need to try something new. And I've gotten into the Bills. So go Bills. All the way here for it. They're the only team that actually plays in New York for you New Yorkers. But also being able to connect with guys over things like that. Because
they love
every guy that I've gone on dates with since starting to be a Bills fan, we've had some conversations about sports. And I only take it, and then I play, I mean, I'm not playing them. I really don't know that much. So then I'm like, oh, well, I don't really know that much. So we can like move on to a different topic. But I think being able to be like, oh, this girl is into sports and she has a job and she does this. Something I don't ever bring up on the first 3 dates, the fact that I own my home. Absolutely not bringing that up.
Why not?
Because I don't want to make them think that I have more assets than they do, even if that is the case. So.
Okay, so you don't want to be like, I got nothing, you know, until it's time for them to know. What is it? Broken finger syndrome.
Anwar says, no hands, no feet.
Yeah.
Can't pick up the phone. We're telemarketers if we're calling them.
Yeah.
That's again, I think that's another thing I really struggled with when I decided to change the way I look at dating. I'm a type of person, I'm told no for a living, and I push through the no for a living. So I'm a chaser. That's what I'm supposed to do. And the most masculine thing you can do is chase a man. And any man that's willing to be chased and needs that, doesn't Kendrick say he's on his period too?
Yeah, he's a diva.
No, okay? I'm the bad bitch in the relationship. So I don't initiate text messages. I go with the flow.
Yeah.
And I don't try to take control.
That's very feminine. Just going with the flow, ease. Okay, let's go to the bottom because I'm sure there's
Wow, this is so fun. I
know, you're enjoying
Wow.
it. You see, I go live every Sunday. Come back. Okay.
There's
A man will move mountains for a woman he's into. Yes. How do you respond to men asking what was the last time you went on a date in a dating app? I don't respond.
Oh, I have a PR answer for this.
Okay, come on, my PR
So,
girl.
a question is never a question.
Ooh.
Don't pay attention to questions. People take questions way too literally in this day.
So
and
what
age.
is a question really?
Exactly. Be like,
Not exactly.
when was the last time you were on a date on a dating app? Like, I'm just kind of dating around. I meet people on apps and I meet people in real life. It's just kind of something I've been consistently doing until I find the person I want to meet.
You love it. Love it, love it. Okay, hold on. Let me just validate the live.
So don't take that question seriously.
Usually it's judgment. You mentioned a career coach. How helpful? Ooh, name some PR tips for dating.
Ooh.
That was a good one. Because you had a good question is never a question.
Question is never a question. Think about, another good PR tip. Like what Jody said about interviews and how the first question is so important. Think about when he's like, hey, how are you? Tell me about yourself. All that. That's an opportunity for you to think about who is the brand I want to communicate as a partner, right? And we all know what we want in a partner. They always say, think about what that partner wants and how do you fit into that, right? So being able to have a great elevator pitch as someone who's, make it seem casual, obviously. They don't need to know how strategic we're being. A question is never a question. So you know what? It is so tempting. I've been guilty talking about your previous dating life on... So there's this thing in PR called bridge questions or bridge.
Come
answers,
on,
right?
yes.
So you bridge it. When he's like, when was the last time you dated? You're like, I really just want to get to know you. Why don't we focus on that and we can talk about who we dated maybe a little bit farther down the line.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk. It's so tempting. You're basically gossiping about yourself.
Ooh,
you don't need to do that,
gossip
right?
about yourself.
So don't talk about past dating when you go on a first date. Think about how you're going to present yourself in the beginning. Know that a question isn't a question. You're not beholden to anything. If the guy is in his bad bitch energy, you need to be ready to let him go. We do not chase, we attract. And think about your emotions wheel. Those are my PR tips.
A lot. This is too good.
Yay!
Another thing I will say, this is controversial, y'all.
Ooh. We need some controversy in this chat.
I know, we need some controversy. So it's a lot like Kapoor said, tea. From my guy friends, I hear to add some more context and maybe some more texture to the advice that you just gave, because I think some people might walk away and be like, okay, I've elevated. A lot of women, especially women, so a lot of the girls who follow me, ambitious, successful women, tend to be boring. I've heard this a lot. I'm so sorry. I hear this a lot from my guy friends. They're like, I have not laughed once on this date because we are so used to performing at work. Performing. Even Anwar, who I've worked with, I can say that openly.
I worked with Anwar.
Okay, I didn't want to put your business out there.
No, we need to let people know.
Yeah, who we've both worked with, has said, treat the first date like you're talking to your homegirl. And I treat my phone dates and first dates like I am talking to Lily. I will be like, hey, and we will just laugh and have fun. My intention on the first date is not to prove myself or get a ton of information. No. My intention on the first date is, can I have fun with this person?
And
can I enjoy
yourself?
It? Yes,
and
I am fully myself. Fully myself.
They have to earn the second date.
Fully myself. And also, I crack jokes. Do they have the capacity for my personality, and can we laugh together? That is all I want to see on the first date. Yeah. So I also encourage my women who are particularly corporate women. We tend to be very, and especially corporate women of color, Black women, we are very like, I have to show that I'm a good woman, and I have to show I'm a good wife, and I have to show I'm a woman of God and a smart girl and a corporate girl. And that is why we end up very masculine. That's why we just have fun. Be like, I was watching the show called Later Daters. I've talked about this on live before, but have you seen Later Daters?
No, but I need to. Y'all talk about it.
Yes, there's a group of white women and a group of black women, and unfortunately, actually not only black women, there's a black man as well. He was in the military, and the black women were very accomplished, like owned their own homes, owned their own businesses. The black man also had a really beautiful home, and they were very stringent. They would go on dates and be very like poised and all of these things, very respectability politics, very performative in some ways. They were so successful, so brilliant. These white women came on these dates. They were wearing whatever, their hair was flowing, they were laughing, they were making jokes, they were touching, banter, drinking, and they all kind of ended up in these relationships. There was just a level of fluidity and like levity about it that just made it fun, versus it was really hard for the black folks to find connections because they were in this very, I need to show you how impressive I am. So that's just something I've been thinking about, and obviously there's a lot of structural things behind this. This is definitely not the fault of women or people of color, but just something to think about where you might be in performance mode.
Okay, I have something a little controversial that I found is controversial.
Okay, girl, don't get me kicked off.
Okay. So, say you go on a date and things go really well. You're hoping there's a second date. You feel like there was chemistry. It's time to leave. And he's like, all right, text me when you get home. And you're like, okay. Don't text him when you get home. Don't text.
I see my actress coming
Do not initiate any text with the man until the third date.
Yes.
This has been really painful for me. I've had guys tell me they wouldn't reach back out to me, the ones that I have told that I do this. If a man is interested, he will check in on you. If not that night, the next day, hey, did you get home?
Yeah.
Right? And so I've had to let go of some really, like, the guys, I feel like a zing, the chemistry and everything. But you don't have the skill set to follow up. It hurts, but unfortunately, we're going to have to let him out to see.
Yeah. Like the live. Yes, go ahead and like the live. Like the live. Tiffany said, girl, I don't even text ever. You're supposed to start texting after date number 3, y'all.
But the thing is, when he does text, be responsive, be fun, be funny, be flirty, be rewarding for him to reach out to you, since you're putting the onus on him to make sure he moves this forward.
Shirley! Our friend Shirley is in the chat. She also did Anwar with us. Hi, Shirley girl.
Anwar's Angels checking in.
Okay, hold on. What if it's the other way around? How do you tell a guy that he's boring?
You don't tell him. You just give him the best of luck.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Let me... Savannah, slow down. I don't know if... I will say some men are shy. I don't know if we need to X a boring man out, or you need to tell him.
Right.
What I will offer is don't do a ton of labor or work, but just sort of there's always something that a man is really excited about. And if you're able in conversation to sort of pry it out, the first date can be a little wonky. People get nervous. People are shy. So long as he meets your basic requirements, let's give him another shot and figure out what he is. I have dated guys who I thought were boring and shy. It wasn't that they're boring and shy. They were nervous. They were scared. They felt a little intimidated. And then once they felt a little safe or more comfortable, they really opened up. So don't tell them that they're boring, but try and find what they're very passionate about and ask them questions about it. And then once they loosen up with you, then you're in a good place. I would say if by date 3 you still think he's boring, then I would say let it go.
That's much better advice than the advice I gave.
Okay, let's see. My matchmaker says 3 dates. Yeah, I would agree with that. A man expects you to communicate, has not worked on his masculine provider energy.
Period.
I agree with that one. I agree. Jody, bring me up, please. Harvey, who are you? How do I bring you up? I don't even know who you are, Harvey, but okay, you can come on this live if you want to. So many gems. Again, do we think men are investing this much time, energy, and effort? No, I don't think so.
Yep.
I don't think men are investing this much time, energy, and effort. But I also don't. I think some people are. So anytime I do a dating video, in the comments, people are always like, oh, here we go, which is actually funny because I'm like, I think 5% of my content is around dating or men or relationships. I think that's okay. I think for women, dating for me, and I think for a lot of my friends, is not about dating or finding a man. I think you're able to build really critical interpersonal and emotional skills through dating. So for me, it's an opportunity to cultivate patience, emotional depth, vulnerability, great communication skills. So dating for me is not only about let me just get a man. It's also about cultivating a unique skill set that can only be found in being in very interpersonal one-on-one interaction. So I know people are tired of the dating chat, blah, 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 but I do think it is important for our personal development to learn how to date well, because it translates into our relationships with our family, into our relationships with our friends, to our relationships with bosses and peers. So,
Also, it's one of the biggest decisions you can make in your life. So if somebody else is not putting time, energy, and effort into their dating life, that's on them. But I want to make a good decision, right? Because a lot of guys will be into you, and then one day they're not anymore, and off they go. And I think a lot of us have not been taught the mechanisms to evaluate men. And once I learned those, I felt so empowered. And also, I'm the happiest I've ever been single, because I know that I'm doing what I need to do to attract the best partner when the time is right. And until then, I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah.
And it also makes dating fun, don't you think?
It does. It does. It does. And it also helps you trust yourself more, because you're making good dating decisions. So if something doesn't work out, it's not because I'm inferior. It is because this person did not fit the criteria. So it also gives you an ease of mind in dating. Someone said love and angels. I don't even initiate text till I'm in a relationship. Y'all are funny. Ooh, how did I do that? Okay, let's see. How old were you guys until you've reached this level of wisdom in dating?
Today, years old.
6 months ago. It's been a journey. But you know what? We have a group chat. So it's me. Oh, I don't like, why is this color so weird? It's me, Lily, a lady in here named Shirley, and then another friend, and we have an accountability group chat, and so we are able to, they really push me on why I'm seeing something, why I'm perceiving something in a particular way, why I'm feeling or reacting in a way. So the wisdom is not only on my own, the wisdom is also like in community with other people. So it's helped me up level my wisdom much faster by being in community with like-minded women who also can challenge me.
Also, it's the friendship that sometimes we're looking for in men. And if we're able to get that kind of friendship in our own relationships, then we don't need to lean on men to be our everything.
I agree.
They're our partner in a certain facet of our lives, but our friends and our community make us whole.
I love that. Can we join the group? Oh my God, Elizabeth is an icon, legend, and wait, is that Franklin?
Yeah, that's my husband.
Hi, Franklin.
Hi. Someone asked if we froze our eggs. We did both freeze our. Oh, I froze mine.
No, well, you already said it, but I did froze mine too. But I missed it.
Someone asked earlier.
Okay, let's go up. I'll get to. Oh, I guess. Do you want to share about your egg freezing journey, or?
I just think that I had the opportunity to make it happen through my job, and so it's a huge investment. And what it's done is just give me the freedom to take the time I need. I would say from like 30 to 35, I'm over 35 now. I was really, really depressed that I didn't have kids, because we are told that we are supposed to have kids and the nuclear family and everything is supposed to be perfect. And we're in 2025 and life looks really different now. Society looks really different with this incoming administration. So I'm able to really take a pause and think about what the best choice is for me. And if it's in, God's plan for me to have kids, I will feel so blessed and happy. But if it doesn't happen, I also feel okay. And freezing eggs has given me that freedom to kind of let go and just wait to see what I'm destined for.
Love it. I think with egg freezing, I kind of knew what I was getting into and also kind of didn't. And I think that's the best place to be. So I won't give you a ton of information because I don't want to sway you anyway. I think it is good to have information, but not be... It was not the most pleasant experience. I genuinely did not enjoy it, but it's brief. I will say it's 3 weeks maximum, but I did not enjoy the experience. It's a lot of needles and blood being drawn and all of that, but it does give you a peace of mind.
Also, you have to pay like $1,000 a year to
store the eggs. That's also something else that I don't think a lot of people know, is that not only is it the process, but it's also the storing. I will say, if you are in your late 20s to early 30s, mid 30s, and you have the capacity to freeze your eggs, my doctor told me, basically just do it before 34. And the other thing is you'll more than likely need to do more than one round. So this is not something that you'll do once. And so don't wait until 35 or whenever, 40.
I froze my eggs at 35 and above.
Yeah, so, or 40, whenever. There is no time limit. But don't wait until the last moment or like right before you're about to leave a job, because you'll probably have to do it twice or 3 times, 4 times, who knows? Yeah. So just be mindful of that as well. Love that community. Can we, Elizabeth, an icon. I love that. Okay. Are men boring or people not used to serenity and peace? Oh, I don't know.
Deep.
What do we think about the boomerang ghost? Well, go ahead.
When I was, that's one of those things I've let go of. I'm not boomeranging anymore. I mean, evidence has shown that it didn't work the first time. I used to do that with all of my exes. I dated everyone. Like, I had to give everyone 2 to 3 shots. So now in this era, it's a one and done for me.
I'm a boomerang, but not because of ghosting. I don't think I've ever allowed someone back after ghosting. It's like things didn't work out, and I also feel like I've recently acquired a lot of wisdom and perspective. So most of the time it doesn't work out, but sometimes I revisit because I'm like, I don't think I had the maturity, because I used to cut people off. I don't like your outfit. I don't like your shoes. I don't like... and now I have maturity of like, and clarity of what I'm really looking for and what actually makes a good partner. So now that I've left those like childish ways behind, I like to revisit them through a new lens. Most of the time I'm like, I see why maybe I didn't have the right language for it, but my intuition was right on them. But either way, now that I've kind of gotten into a new phase, I will revisit, but never if they ghosted, only if like it was sort of this fall off, and usually because of me. But I don't really like revisiting folks. Okay. Trouble creating female friendships. That's a great question. I would offer why, like, what's the why behind it? Why do you have difficulty? Because it can be a host of things. If there might be a proximity issue, like you're not close to people. For example, if you're not going into work and there's tons of people your age, and then you come home and you don't have a ton of hobbies, is it an opportunity of like volume? Like, are you just not meeting people to have friends? Or do you have the capacity to make friends, but you can't hold on to them for long periods of time? I think that will help us inform.
I just started salsa last week and made new friends out of a shared passion for something. So, if you have trouble creating a friendship based on just like personality alone and maybe drinking and going to brunch and doing what us New Yorkers do ceaselessly, I think that, trying a kickball league or going to salsa class, or think about a passion that you want to cultivate, and you'll find people who are like-minded, and a lot of friendships can be based on your shared passion for that.
I agree. I think a lot of people, especially women, sometimes we can have friendships on very vapid things, but shared values, shared interests, like a similar way of seeing life. I think that is like, we became much closer because we talked about dating a lot, and we were accountability partners in that. So we had a lot of shared values. We prioritize the same things in other people, and that's how we became accountability partners, but also friends. So,
and then like, is it boundary issues and like practicing? Because there's a book called Find Boundaries, Create Peace. And creating healthy boundaries that you're communicating with people can build really strong relationships.
In your wisdom, what is your mechanism for evaluating men?
I follow Anwar and do what he tells me to do.
The school of Anwar.
It's a strategy.
He has a whole dating strategy. He's amazing. One thing, and he shares this publicly, he talks about PF, evaluating men, and this is why a community and accountability is very important, because sometimes I'll be like, I just didn't like him, and we have a structure, a framework, physical, intellectual, emotional, and financial, and Anwar goes into that. He has videos on his page about it if you want to watch it. But anytime you engage with a man or go on a date, you have to evaluate them by that criteria, and if they are above a 6 and above on those things, he has to proceed. So you don't get in the way of like, I'm just not feeling him. It's like, does he meet my needs across like the basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs in a relationship? Does he meet those? And if he does, he's automatically moved forward. Doesn't really matter how you feel about it. So it moves from a place of facts, not feelings. And I would say that is a really good mechanism.
Facts, not feelings. Absolutely. Because the person that's right for you, you might not feel that immediate chemistry with. Like sometimes that like immediate spark is actually a sign that it's going to come and go really quickly. And so having the patience and kind of the emotional resilience to know that you're lying on this framework will help you push through the mistakes that you might have made in the past to find someone that is your actual real partner.
Love it. And also, I don't know who I just invited to this live, sorry. But another thing is boundaries. Anwar is really big on boundaries. So set boundaries and see how they respond. Set boundaries and see how they respond. So small to large boundaries. A small boundary can be like, hey, can you call me at this time? And that's like a small boundary. And if he calls you exactly at that time, or does he call you an hour later? And then if you say, hey, we were supposed to talk at this time. Like, I feel really valued when you do call me at the right time. And he's like, oh, whatever. You're like, damn, you're so demanding. Like, it's not for you. So those are really helpful ways to vet men by creating boundaries and sharing vulnerability and see how they respond. Okay, let's
Speaking of
see.
boundaries, I might have a phone date now. I need to check.
I think you had a phone date 21 minutes ago.
Oopsies.
Yes, supplements, no sugar. Oh, okay. Are you talking about how to prepare for egg freezing? Someone said supplements, no sugar, good nutrition.
The reality is,
Someone said, yeah, there is a preparation method of you shouldn't drink. Oh, did you have a phone date?
I'm gonna work through that.
Can you also pass my water for me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you want any water?
No, I'm good right now.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little late for my appointment, but it was so fun to meet everyone.
Are you leaving?
Yeah, I have to. You know.
Oh, did he call?
I'll have to check on that.
Okay.
Lily Luke on Instagram.
Everyone say bye. How long have we been on here?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, y'all. Sunday sermon. I think we're gonna wrap because we are here. They asked how long did we work with Anwar. I've been working with Anwar forever, but it was so good to see you. This will be on YouTube, so go ahead and check this out on YouTube. It's so good to see y'all, and we will be back I don't know if I'll be here next Sunday. I will try. I might be in a flight, but I'll join during the week. But it's so good to see y'all. Well, I'll see you soon. Happy Sunday. How do I end this thing?